Manchester United have finished their summer tour in the United States. We're lifted a trophy, not that anyone cares, but at the end of the day, Bryan Mbeumo made his debut, played along Cunha, and United wrapped up the USA leg of the tour, 2-2 draw against Everton that followed a 4-1 victory against Bournemouth earlier in the week. How are we feeling, sir? I like seeing the beard, the shaved head, the new kit, everyone looking fresh. Wasn't perfect, but it's practice, and we're 2 weeks away from the Premier League season starting off against Arsenal. How are we feeling? How are we doing?
Summer Series champs. Who needs Europa League champs? We're the Summer Series champs, but it starts here. United, great momentum in preseason. Got a trophy, preseason trophy, not worth nothing.
Don't even touch
it. Worth less than the Community Shield.
A lot less.
But United need it. It's the mentality. We see the players a lot more fit. We saw the idea Amorim talked about last season, I think, proper in this preseason run. You saw great leadership from Bruno Fernandes post-match saying, hey, we were lazy today. Should have been better. Should have beat Everton. There's just a feel about it that the lads are taking it much more serious than the Malaysian tour. So if you want to look at Malaysia losing the Europa League, this is a strong bounce back in a short amount of time. A lot of players coming in as well. A lot of rumors around transfers. Sesko, we're going to get to that news later in the podcast. Garnacho, Chelsea. A lot of bluffers we got to sell. Other players we're bringing in. We're going to cover it all on this great podcast. Sir, but preseason, USA Tour wrapped up. I'm feeling good. Getting excited for the season. Arsenal, let's go.
It all starts 2 weeks from now. Like you said, the home opener, the Premier League opener against the Gunners at home is going to be a big match. And these games, they've showed us some things. There's things to be encouraged about and issues that we still need to have fixed. So the exciting parts is Cunha and Mbeumo have immediately stepped up the level of the club in terms of the squad. I feel like you see it in terms of the training, even the little snippets that they provided online, but as well as just the intensity factor. I feel like the players are more locked in. Today wasn't the best in terms of Everton's match. We were a little scrappy, a little sloppy. Maybe even, dare I say, a little lazy, as Bruno Fernandes said. But I feel like the fitness has been much higher. The pressing has been, by and large, better. And the passing has been a little bit sharper and tighter. Once again, not as much today, but in those previous matches for sure. And the new additions are looking like proper players, especially Mbeumo in his first 45 minutes today. Just fantastic. Also, Cunha, Mbeumo, Ahmad all linking up with Bruno in that first kind of big chance for United in the opening. We'll get into that game in a second, sir. But encouraging things. Dorgu, once again, he's probably the player of the preseason. He's been flying, and he came in once again in the second half against Everton and looked great. So they're exciting things, but we still need a number 9. We probably need a number 6. Ugarte did not have a good game against Everton, and goalkeeper probably ain't chops.
Let's break down the Everton-Manchester United final leg of the USA preseason tour. The preseason tour is not done. Coming back to Old Trafford against De Gea, making his return after Woodward famously rebuffed him on that second contract. The fax machine kept him, and Woodward and Erik ten Hag said goodbye to him. Or actually, Woodward's protege, Richard Arnold, said goodbye to him in horrible fashion. But De Gea will be back. I'm sure he's going to get a standing O from the crowd. Maybe Onana's performances to date have lent into that, which is great. But a huge game. It was in Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Everton 2, Manchester United 2. Probably the worst team we played in this little summer series that we ended up winning. And United struggled a little bit, but we were good in attack. Ahmad lightning down the right wing. He won the penalty that Bruno converted early. The lads were up. Sloppy defensive mistakes led to the Everton goals. And then Mason Money Mount coming on impact sub. Crazy curler reminded us last season of his impact in Europa League. He's doing well. Manager singing his praises, saying how much he tries hard, which is exactly what the Amorim program is all about. And, it finishes 2-2. I feel like United getting more goals, which is what we need. We get signed attackers. We got more goals. Mbeumo involved. A lot of great things coming together for the Reds, but it was sort of the back to basics, back to slop shop football, at the back at least, in moments for United. We were sloppy for moments. Everton went long. They kind of played into their height and the physicality. We struggled a little bit there.
Yeah, and it's you don't want to read too much into it because it is 2 games in 4 days against Premier League opponents. There was a decent amount of switching, but a lot of players played a lot in both games. So it was scrappy. It was sloppier. We did win the ball back well in the final third of their pitch, and that was the best chances we created, was on the break, on the counter, winning the ball back high. But whenever we got the ball, in our back three, trying to play out the back, a lot of the passing that you're seeing from Ugarte, he had a really bad day, giving the ball away quite often. Wasn't sharp enough. We had giveaways, scratchy passing throughout. But I think we grew into it, and we showed moments, and at the end of the day, it's a good run out. And the thing that was the most exciting was just seeing those four players in Mbeumo, Cunha, Bruno, and Amad Diallo linking up multiple times throughout that first half, showing how much promise they're going to bring, hopefully, this season in terms of goals and just attacking threat, because they were lively. And they were lively from the jump, and attacks will take a lot of time to kind of gain familiarity so they can be better playing together and know the runs they're going to make, the passes they need to make. But they seemed to jive right from the off, sir. That penalty chance was a link up between those four, and that was in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, and like you said, just quick note on the starting 11, we had Bayindir in net, Euro, DeLitt, Shaw back line, Diallo right wing back, Manu, Ugarte midfield, Delo at left wing back, Bruno, and Mbeumo and Cunha up front. I feel like the front three of Mbeumo, Cunha, Bruno Fernandes trying to get him in together. It looked really good in certain phases of play. Like you said, on the counter, Mbeumo was just like lights out. His passing, his just awareness. I feel like there was a great ball he fed into Diallo before that created the penalty. So he was like impact player. 5 booms for Mbeumo. I'm Mbeumo all day. What a debut. He's not even fit. He looks to be like the best attacker. We're going to see a lot of him this season. I'm absolutely buzzing about Brian Mbeumo.
No, and Mbeumo is kind of one of the big takeaways, I think, of this game. Cunha, you could see the promise that he offers. He was linking up pretty well with Bruno in the middle, pitch playing a little bit deeper than Mbeumo. But Mbeumo just looks so sharp. His balance looks insane. His first touch. He's just a player. He's like, I said,
dog.
He looks like a United player. And he's got that dog mentality. And that front three, I think Bruno is going to probably find himself playing deeper this season, especially if we sign a number 9. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But it was effective, at parts, and they were still kind of getting to know each other, switching all over the pitch. So that's good because everyone was worried about signing wingers or wide players. And they did seem to kind of stick up front at parts with Bruno dropping deeper, but there's a lot of rotation and it's just options for the manager. And he's actually going to have a lot of options, a lot of choices when you think about certain areas of the pitch where we have a lot of depth and other places where we don't.
Yeah, when Mbeumo came off, Diallo pushed up at 10. You had Cunha move to the striker role. Cunha and Bruno got to figure out how to work together. I feel like they both succeed in certain areas of the pitch, and it might look better with Bruno deeper. And it did look better earlier in preseason when Bruno was playing a little deeper. Cunha had the space to sort of run into. When he was up high, kind of struggled to find his feet. Obviously, Hojlund not starting here. Maybe it's because he's going to be dealt. Maybe United are wheeling and dealing behind the scenes, but we're going to get into the striker news a little later on the podcast. Before we jump into that, quick notes on the tactics, the tactical teardown versus Everton. We've been updating you how Amorim's been reacting tactically during preseason and giving us some clues of where he's going to head this season. And what I want to highlight here is ultimately this midfield 2 when you look at Ugarte and Manu starting today. Often Ugarte playing the 6. Manu is really that 8, getting box to box with Bruno, especially pushing up in the pitch here. And this role of the 6 is so critical for Manchester United because often we're attacking with these 6, and even the center back, the left or right center back, is actually pushing up as the free man into attack. And that's where the 6 has to be wise to any danger that could happen, and Ugarte did get caught out today. Additionally, this player is so critical because they have to be all over the pitch, covering and looking for where the center backs are headed. We saw both Shaw and Euro push up into attack, and Ugarte's got to be wise to that. Manu getting involved as well, exactly where we want him to be. He's more that 8 character, played 10 last season. So this 6 role, Ugarte, Casemiro, while Ugarte has the legs, Casemiro probably doesn't. But Casemiro has that vision. He has that pass. Ugarte doesn't, so he can win and tackle the ball. But once he gets it, we saw him give it away. That led to an Everton goal. The question for Manchester United this season and how Amorim wants to play this position, number 6, is so critical, and we don't have the player to do it. Right now, Ugarte looks to be a little beside himself, didn't start in the final, and Casemiro doesn't quite have those legs. So I feel like the number 6 position at Manchester United, we got cut out a lot last season, and if we don't want to concede 54 goals again in 25-26, got to lock down a new 6. I know we're talking about strikers. We need goals as well, but if you saw preseason, you saw him switch these 2. Manu ain't the job to... Manu's not cleaning this all up. It's got to be a number 6. Is it Ugarte? Is it Casemiro, sir? What do you think?
I think Ugarte could grow into that role. I think, we might look back at that signing and say, hey, why did we hire someone who's just really kind of a tackling specialist? He's very good at winning the ball back, but he doesn't offer those kind of other parts of a dynamic midfielder that you need in terms of stitching up the play between the defense and the attack. And I thought he was much more effective in some of the earlier preseason games, even playing with Kobe Manu. We saw that once, I think 2 games ago against West Ham, and they looked okay. I think Ugarte just had a howler of a day. He gave that ball away at the edge of the box. They scored, and he looked beside himself the rest of the day. So he was slipping all over the place, made a bunch of errors. But at the end of the day, we're going to be left with Ugarte on the 17th of August against Arsenal in the home opener. And that's
I think it's Casemiro, because if you look at the stats, Casemiro has better tackling stat. This is, if you look at Football Ref last 365 days, Casemiro has better tackling stats. His passing stats are like elite. The problem is he doesn't have the legs. And when you're looking at what Amorim wants to do, like the distance and the recovery that's needed, it's like we need to find the next Cass, like this window, because it's too inflexible to have these two players play this critical role for this manager, because you see the center backs, they're having to make these last ditch challenges. I feel like the 6, he's getting caught out. Every goal, if you watch, that we conceded on this preseason tour almost, is basically because we lost the ball in transition, and the 6 and the center backs are having trouble to recover, and we need that character who can smell the danger, sniff it out. Because, look, Manu needs to be getting involved in the attack. Bruno as well. But you need that number 6 that can let Bruno roam free, that can let Manu and get the best out of these players. And right now we don't have it. And I feel like it's almost sort of like the bedrock of allowing the freedom of our best players to go forward and attack. And so it's going to be an interesting one where everyone's thinking striker, but I think number 6 might be what we need to make Manchester United tick properly.
Probably. There's just so many need to haves, and 6 is kind of, it's close to need to have, but not ahead of a striker and arguably not ahead of a goalkeeper. So if you get 2, sir, say you get 2 of the 3 key positions, real upgrades, players that can be starters, who you pick? Obviously, you want a number 9. Do you goalie or do you number 6?
If Koyer goes on loan, that's like you need to bring somebody in, right? Because there's only 3 players on the roster that can do it. Cass, Koyer, Ugarte. You need to find it. Manu isn't this 6. He could maybe play that over time, but if we're really honest, playing Bruno and Manu together in the 2, that's not going to work. It's either Bruno Cass, Manu Ugarte, Bruno Ugarte, and I feel like you just need another shout. We've been linked with some midfielders, but nothing imminent. We'll keep you posted on this one. But getting into the preseason tour, big shout out to at Florida CPA 325. Amazing picture of the Mercedes-Benz Arena. This is a preview for the World Cup to come. But NFL stadiums being repurposed for the beautiful game. It's what a sight to see. It was a great stadium. Unbelievable. Hopefully Old Trafford looks like this one day.
You love to see it because the football is getting better in terms of just like, I feel how open the American market is to hosting these games and also making accommodations, having grass, making the pitch wide enough. And today was nice. Great crowd. It's been a great crowd in the States these last 3 games. I also think it's going to pay dividends having less travel and less time zone adjustment for the lads as they come back to the UK over the next few days, sir. But love to see it, and I can't believe the season's right around the corner. Can you believe we got one more game, of course. We got a trophy to talk about as well, sir. Look at the new boys. They look happy. Look at that head shining, dude. And Mbumo.
Hey, Summer Series Cup. It's not a bad way to start for Cunha and Mbumo. It's a preseason trophy, so does it count? No, but if I won it, I'd probably brag about it. And I thought it was funny. Bruno was really serious. I like the vibe post-game. It's all about, hey, we should have done better.
They look like they lost.
But that's Bruno's sort of taken on the manager's persona a little bit.
Good.
Right? His fellow countryman.
Right.
He's like, hey, not good enough. That was Bruno's attitude right after the game. Amorim's attitude right after the game. Not good enough. Like, don't celebrate with the trophy. Be serious. I feel like this is like a new sheriff in town. Amorim's really making us know that he's the man. And so let's hope we can get the results. Let's hope we have the buy-in here, but it's great to start with the trophy. People will make fun of it. It is a summer series. The CEO of the Prem is there. ATL, great stadium. Look at that. 2 new signings. Shiny object. Let's go. Smiling.
They look fucking great together, by the way. Just seeing them look happy, it's just something to go after, something to play for.
Gotta build on
showing the intensity of the team. I think you've seen more intensity in training, and the boys, today was a little bit of a drop off, but I think that was the fatigue because there's been a lot of legs, and they're running at a very high pace. So it's encouraging. It's just preseason. It's just around the corner of the regular start to the season. I can't believe it's 2 weeks fucking out, bro. The summer off is it's nothing. It's like, I remember the Europa League final like it was yesterday, and it's just like coming. The train is coming to Old Trafford.
I love it. I love this game. I love this club. and let's reset. Like,
Let's go.
Gunners, like, watch out. That's what I want when we start. But before then, we have another tune-up match in a week. We're going to travel back to Manchester, hopefully wheeling and dealing in the front office. Saturday, August 9th, 4:45 a.m. Pacific. So you're going to be on vacay on the East Coast watching this one. I don't know if I'm going to up at 4:45 for a preseason match.
You gotta say David De Gea, bro, your boy.
Oh, there's a replay somewhere, But
he's gonna have a game. By the way, he's gonna have a fucking game.
He's
gonna be like,
you
boom,
listen to the pod,
dink.
big De Gea guy.
Clearly,
got the kit here in the pod bunker. Big De Gea fan. I'm glad he's coming back. He needs a proper send off.
He does. He never got that.
He's a good guy. He
heavy
won the
fan.
league with United. Took a lot of shit. Took it on the chin. And by the way, he stepped up in a lot of those big interviews. I felt like there was a lot of moments De Gea, like a lot of people didn't want to talk, and he talked. I thought he was a good character, captain material, in my opinion. Quiet leader, De Gea. Appreciate you. Come on the pod. Come on the pod, De Gea.
Love to have you.
Let's get into some transfer muppetry. We got Sesko watch. Everyone talking about Benjamin Sesko, Manchester United, Newcastle United. Why are they even trying? At David
Because they gotta. They're desperate.
David Ornstein, tier 1. If we should gazump him here, that would be a great feeling. David Ornstein, tier 1. Newcastle submit offer to RB Leipzig for Sesko. Bid in the last 24 hours. This is 75 million euros plus 5 million in add-ons. It's basically what Leipzig wanted. United's pursuit's ongoing. No decision yet from the 22-year-old. We're hearing, this was from August 2nd. We're hearing it's basically up to Sesko. United will pay it, but we didn't put in an official bid. We're not going to put in a bid just to have it rejected, right? We're going to make sure Sesko wants us over Newcastle and then bid. So it's an interesting situation. Ornstein saying Newcastle is there, United hanging around the hoop. Apparently we're both out at RB Leipzig camp negotiating for him. Klopp taking a break from his Travago ad to come tell Sesko with his big old teeth, don't join United. Like, thanks
Fuck
a lot,
you, bro.
Klopp. Like, I don't like you either. So this is where we're at. Nervy times. Need a number 9. We're wasting a lot of time and effort on it. I hope we win it. Not only to just basically beat up Newcastle United, but we just need a striker who can score goals.
Yeah, and this is one of those stories that advanced very quickly. Sesko, a name that we've been attracted to for a while. And then last week, it was very much a 2-horse race between Ollie Watkins and Sesko, just kind of two different things. Young up-and-comer, huge amount of ceiling, but not Premier League proven. And then, of course, Ollie Watkins, like old consistency, like, mid-teen digit goals for the last 5 seasons, just lock and load, know you're going to get, but the prices were similar. Apparently Villa asking for 16 million. The fee we're hearing from Sesko after they've come down because Arsenal was quoted 100 million euros early in the summer.
Sesko.
Don't worry. We sign him. We'll tighten that name pronunciation.
I like that. Sesko.
Slovenian.
Sesko.
Sir.
Sesko.
But it accelerated very quickly because they went from being a 2-horse race to
United.
United.
They cut the price.
United
We
want
came in.
Sesko. They want him. They also made it clear that our tier 1s basically said United are going for Sesko. That makes you think that he's interested in coming to United because I don't think they would have gone so full in. And now all weekend it's been playing out. Does he not? How many fucking tweets has Fabrizio hawked at this point, being like, he's got to make a decision. He's got to decide. He's leaning to United.
That's his thing, though.
I know.
He's turned into that.
Milk it.
He's turned into
That's tier 3 for a reason.
The smoke brigade. Like, I got no news, but I'm going to
got
talk for a
nothing.
minute and 30 seconds
got
for the social media engagement. Look, this one, for me, United need to win this war. Sesko said in the past he likes Manchester United. We also heard when there was Arsenal chose Gyökeres, there was smoke that he prefers United. Then the price was cut. I feel like United were almost pulled into this one opportunistically based on where the chips fell in the market.
Talked about that.
And while I think the Ollie Watkins profile is probably better for us now, if Hojlund is now on the market, which we'll get to next, then you have a Sesko who can come in and be that young striker. And he's lethal. He's a top European prospect. The resale value is high. If you're looking at 75 million euros, it's a good deal. This is good value for a top young European striking talent. It's not where I thought we would be. It's not probably where I want to be, but you have to kind of take what the market gives you, and the market is giving us Sesko with the rose tattoo on the neck. If I like his numbers are good, 20 plus. in Germany, all comps. He's 22. You compare that, like he's doing it in Germany.
6'5".
Starting every game, 6'5", aerial threat. Like imagine him just dunk header all day. Like we haven't seen that at United. Flying around. He's got a boot on him. I just feel like this could be really exciting. I'm all in on Sesko if he joins the club, sir. This is like, you really rated Wout Weghorst. I'm a big Sesko guy.
Rated Wout Weghorst. Get the fuck out of here. He's a player that kind of, like I said, we talked about this at the beginning of the transfer window. There's a musical chairs as it relates to the strikers available on the market, top clubs, us, United, of course, Arsenal,
He's
Chelsea,
like a good
Liverpool.
Wout. He's a good Wout.
I hope so.
He's a good
Minus
Wout
the Dutch,
Weghorst.
Slovenian,
Like
your boy Tadic,
fast.
like your boy Tadic Pogacar. And these are one of those strikers that like the window kind of put him in front of us, because I think if Ollie Watkins, the price was willing to come down, if they're like, hey, we'll play ball at 40. No, they're like hard line in the sand. We don't want to sell 30-year-old Ollie Watkins for any less than 60 million pounds. Well, Sesko is now 70 million pounds. That's a 22-year-old. He'll have resale value. His ceiling's also potentially higher than Ollie Watkins even at
this could
peak.
be a steal. Like United always just get into these sagas and like get cooked, and this could be the first time where like Arsenal got in the saga with Gyökeres, and then we end up getting like their reject in Sesko. And then like he turns out to be like a worldie. Like this could
turn out to be a worldie,
like Isak bottles Newcastle, Gyökeres fall, then Sesko's like the next Holland. Like this could be how we come back from the ashes. Like, and so for me, importantly on just the pure Muppet take of it, you got to just cook Newcastle. They've been eating L's all out in the street. They're like pounding their chest. They won a trophy. They think they're like, they think they're hot shit.
So
and then
insecure.
like nobody, by the way, Newcastle, have you been there? I've taken the train from London to Newcastle. Been there. It's very far away from anything.
Very far away.
Manchester is far.
Also
Is also far.
Not as far.
Manchester's a tough sell. Liverpool's a harder sell. Newcastle is a harder sell. If you're like, let's be honest. I'm not
true.
like people in the UK just like comment. You can comment on like it'd be like going to play in Cincinnati or like New York. Where do you want to go? Maybe Boston would be a better. Maybe Manchester. Boston.
Manchester's
like,
not New
London's
York.
New York. But like I'm trying to come up with the right analogy.
I feel like
in the United
Manchester's
States
like Chicago.
I just can't imagine he would like. You go to Manchester. There's a lot going on. You got City. You got United. You got a big city. Big airport,
big team,
in and out.
Big team.
And it's just like there's more going on. It doesn't have the appeal of London, but definitely more than Newcastle. Newcastle's just like blinders on football only. You're up there. It's darker. It's colder than Manchester. And I just kind of have to feel that like the club, the history is the pull. So if he rejects United for Newcastle, it means he just wants money. And that means we don't want him anyway, right? So it kind of will figure itself out. And I just feel like United in the poll and the fact that we're being serious. But it's up to him. And this is from Philip Hines. He said, further talks regarding Sesko took place last night, continuing in the morning. As reported, United are ready to match the offer. Everything depends on Sesko. So what he wants pretty much is what he'll get. And if he wants money, he'll go to Newcastle. If he wants to join Amorim and the next big thing, I have a feeling it's Manchester United. You look at Eddie Howe. Isak's leaving Newcastle. I just feel like we're kind of got the juice right now.
We got the juice, and listen, at the end of the day, there's the pull of being a youngster. This guy was a young fan. He said he's been a fan of Manchester United since he was 9 years old, and guess what? Everybody wants to be part of the project to bring Manchester United back from the ashes. Everybody.
Everyone.
And Bumo Cunha, by the way,
comparison.
they both wanted to come to United. They both turned down other competitive clubs that are ahead of us in the table probably the last 3 or 4 years, no problem. He's a risk because of the coming up to new league. We're going to have to give him time. But by signing Premier League proven, not strikers, but goal scorers in Cunha and Mbeumo, you take some of the burden off a project. He is still a project coming to the EPL. It's a big step up for anybody. And we're not a turnkey team like City was when Haaland just showed up and started banging them in. So I like the profile. I don't love the neck tattoo, but he's got fucking height. His goals kind of dropped a little bit last season, but that's because I've been research. He dropped deeper and was more involved in link-up play. Wasn't in the box as much. I think given the players around him in the 2-10 system, he's going to be in the box, target man, especially in the air with Mbeumo, right? Third highest crosses in the league last year. That would be a great combo. I'd also like, we'll talk about the Dane in a bit, but I think you need two. So it's like if you end up dishing Hojlund, and we'll get on to his story next. I still think you need somebody else, even if that's a fucking Vardy or a DC. You can't have one number 9 again, because I feel like that's replaying the Hojlund mistake once again.
Yeah, I also don't want to comment. There's obviously a reason to get a rose neck tattoo that could be like valid, but I was thinking like, what neck tattoo would you want your striker to have? Like, I was thinking like, what would be an acceptable neck tattoo for a striker?
Like a dog bone, like a dog, just someone who's. Just
I thought like a skull,
yeah, skull or a trophy.
If you're gonna get a neck tattoo, it has to be something like very scary.
Money.
It has to be very scary. Like, it has to be like something
crossbone.
just like skull pirate something. Like the Rose. Hey, if he scores or maybe scores 100 EPL goals, maybe I'll get a Rose neck tattoo. You never know.
The War of the Roses.
Don't never say die. Next one, Simon Stone broke news yesterday, August 2nd. Hojlund, £30 million. Come get him. United are selling. There was a lot of rumors around him. I don't know why. It was kind of strange. He played for Bournemouth, and then also was asked about his future. He said he wants to fight for his spot. There was sort of the Sesko swap deal rumors. Leipzig might have that angle as well. Is United posturing for $30 million in the deal with Leipzig, or they just want to get rid of? We're not going to get rid of Hojlund if we don't get somebody in. What does this mean? What does this say? Let me know, sir.
I mean, this story has moved fast, and as of last week, when it was clear that United wanted Sesko as an number 1 target, it was immediately brought up in the German press that they're actually very much interested in Hojlund because they know they can get a cut rate price. He's still young. He fits the profile perfectly for an RB club where you buy cheapish and then you turn him around, have him a good season, and then you could see them selling him for double back to Manchester United, or you know what I mean, or to the equivalent to Newcastle when their next striker they sign goes somewhere else. This is, I don't know. I think United are probably pushing him out at this point. The fact that Simon Stone is like listed a price that feels to me pretty
tier
reasonable.
1.
No, this is tier 1A, bro. He used to be the official mouthpiece of United. Now that's more the athletic crew, but still he is tier 1 all day. And the fact that they have a price in mind, while the Sesko rumors heat up, coming from a tier 1, clearly United are like, yo, we want you to find your way out. Because I think Hojlund's probably been just left in the dark. And he's like, I want to play. He wants to be United. He wants to turn his fucking shit around. So I think he gets involved in this deal because I think United will make it known, or at least they're doing so right now, he's not welcome here, or his future is not at Manchester United. Let's combine him in the deal with Sesko. Get it $40 million. I think you get a little bit more than 30. Pay them 80 or 70, whatever it is. And then that's the deal. But then you still need to get another 9. You still need another.
It's interesting timing to drop this.
It's
almost
from
like
Stonesy.
They're this is United pushing info out,
right?
Through Stone, and 30 million is basically saying, hey, Leipzig, you want him. This is the value. And so I feel like this is posturing from United for a deal, right? And so it could get interesting, but Sesko has to want United, and then all the parts have to fall into place because we've heard nothing from Italy. There were some rumors around Italy. We've heard nothing. So it's kind of strange that Hojlund, all of a sudden, this price tag would drop in the midst of this transfer deal. But as far as Hojlund's concerned, he struggled. We talked about it on the live stream. We were covering the match for Everton. Hey, if you play Hojlund next year and he's not good, he's worth 0. And you could get something for him now potentially that you can invest in, maybe a Sesko or a Watkins. It does make front office sense that you're taking a lot of risk bringing Hojlund back for year 3.
I think given his age and profile, I think if 30 is the best you can get, I would be willing to give it another go around just because he's 22. He's 6'4". His sprinting stats are not bad. It's just that he couldn't hit the broadside of Barden last year. And more so, he actually made the wrong runs. It was not even like he didn't get the
No,
results.
yeah, I think he actually finish. He's nowhere like we saw in Bumo today, like right where the ball is, bam, he's right.
Even Cheeto is showing more astuteness of making the right runs and having that football IQ as it relates to being a striker. Like RVP, he was so good at that. Zlatan showed how good he was at that, and he looks so off. So I think knocking his ass to the bench and seeing if he can come good. We're going to need strikers. He's got the physicality to make it in the league. He's got to learn when to use it, when not to use it. But that's where you bring in Sesko and you keep him and you're like, fuck it. This is competition between 2 young kids. They're both 22. They both got to prove it.
But I think this doesn't, if you think about it, having another young guy next to Sesko is probably not good because then you switch to Hojlund and then it's just one of those things where It's an interesting.
You want Sesko and Watkins,
you
bro.
want
That would be the combo.
You want
to
a
have.
veteran and then a young striker.
Right.
And this is, again, United we are taking what the market gives us. It's interesting. We're going to keep you posted. But the fact that Hojlund was asked about his future, he said he wants to fight for a spot. It felt like he had to get out and say something because someone was wheeling and dealing and almost getting him out of the club. And he clearly doesn't want to leave. Lots of drama here as it relates to strikers. We're going to keep you posted on the pod, but we're going to get into our favorite update, sir. It is
Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad update. Garnacho. I hate to say that he's a part of the Bomb Squad. Viva Garnacho singing around Old Trafford, the amazing goal.
Back to Ronaldo.
The fact he was
Back
like
to Viva
big
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo fan, and it just went sideways. Got the new teeth.
Big
Did start doing the eyebrow zigzags, and got a little crazy on socials. But look, from Romano, Garnacho has given his total priority to Chelsea. Talks took place on the player's side. No negotiations with United. Price will be a key factor. Timing the deal not expected to be imminent. Can take some time with Chelsea focused on outgoings and Xavi. Garnacho, Chelsea, feels like he's going to be playing in Chelsea blue. He just looks like it. The long sleeve, Chelsea kit, Garnacho on the back. The frosted hair. Feels like it's meant to be.
It feels like it's meant to be. If they can meet the valuation, I think he'll do very well there. He won't have to be the starter, but he will get plenty of reps. They'll be in Europe. He'll do really well. Whatever his fee will be, they will sell him subsequently to Spain in 3 to 5 years for double, at least double. So
he could him with Cole Palmer, like he
no,
could
he
literally
could be $100 million
Chelsea,
player.
like the league.
This is it's like it should have never gone this way. It did go this way. The fact is, you have to get a good deal that we can then spin into another striker or spin into a 6 or a goalie because he's going to kill it at Chelsea. He will fucking crush it.
I hate this. I
bad.
think he has a bad attitude and he's a good player. And sometimes you need to get good things out of players with bad attitudes. And I do agree with Amorim. And what we're going to talk about in the Amorim interview he finally gave is that it's the core was not there. And having all these issues with players, you didn't have room for a bad attitude. Because if you have a good core, you can kind of manage one guy or a few guys. But maybe a Garnacho, if he's really good, maybe you can manage him a little bit. But you don't have anything when Amorim came in. It was just like a nightmare. You got to just cut and run. And I feel like we are going to give Chelsea a great talent at a cut rate price. And their price that they quoted us was $30 million.
Speaking of $30 million.
This is insane. To sell him a dime below 45 million pounds is a crime. He should really be 65, 70, honestly. Look at his stats. Look at the attacking output in a horrible United side. It's unbelievable, and he has so much potential. It's just the fact that he fell off the manager, you're getting him for half off. And United, we keep shooting ourselves in the foot when it comes to these deals and players, and it's all down to the Europa League final, which is even more hysterical because we lost that game and that cost us 100 million pounds. And then the fallout with Garnacho is going to cost us another 25 million. We're just shipping cash here with this bomb squad. If you really think about it, that final cost us so much money. And, he's a great young talent. And like I said, 45 is a good deal for Chelsea. 30's we're getting robbed. That's highway robbery.
No, this is one of the. I think you nailed it, which is in a team that's more consistent, more stable. The manager situation is more kind of ironed in. There hasn't been all these manager changes since he came into the scene. We would have been able to deal with this. You'd be able to absorb a young ego, like a hothead from Argentina. Well, dude, that's not unheard of in European football. But with everything being so fucking tumultuous and no leadership, kind of bringing everybody together. I think you've seen more of the Sanchos. Even players like that would have gotten a line for a Fergie, or they would have gotten spit right out immediately. But Garnacho would have come in line if this team wasn't just so tumultuous. So this is going to be one of those that bites us later because he will crush it at Chelsea in a couple of years.
No, for that money.
They'll sell him to Real Madrid. They'll sell him to Real Madrid for over 100 million pounds.
Yeah, and we have to be careful. You're talking Hojlund price, you're talking Garnacho price. We need to think sell-on. There's going to be some sort of sell-on component of these deals, and United has been very successful selling players cheap to other teams and then sell them for more money. So that seems to be the only thing that United are very good at. Next news here, Antony, apparently the Saudi deal, he's rejected it. He's still waiting for Betis. Sounds like a coup there. This is going to be a late lame duck deadline deal, loan, cheap Betis, just letting us pay them to have him play for their team, which sucks. I wish that we would have gotten some more interest on Antony, or that Saudi money would have kind of drawn him over there. But if he's going to Betis, we're not getting paid because Betis don't have the cash.
No, they don't. There's only 3 teams in Spain with any cash, and he ain't going. He doesn't want to go to one of them. So this is one of those where I think you have to set an example of him. He doesn't have. It's not like Sancho. He doesn't have 1 year left on his contract. He's also not on this insane contract like Marcus Rashford was. You gotta be like, bro, you ain't going to Betis. Like, you're going to the U21s or you're going elsewhere. And I think you gotta play hardball. And I think this is very important because United are putting themselves in a position to get taken advantage of by a club like fucking Real Betis, bro. Like, what do you mean? He's worth at least 30 million pounds. Do some kind of.
But they can't pay. They can't pay, and they're not going to get it over the books. And then there's no demand for him.
You can't have him.
The thing about it, United just don't. Who's paying 40 million for him? No one.
Give us 30.
Here's the thing. Hojlund, 30 million pounds. Who's going to pay 30 million? Like, show me who's paying 30 million for one. If you do it for, by the way, that's our opening offer. That means there's nobody who wants to
sell them.
We have to move these. This is the whole thing. We're held hostage. No, everybody knows. Don't bid for United players. It's like it's a coup. I think it's like for some reason we cannot sell players. Everyone takes advantage of it. It's like highway robbery. You know, like this is crazy. He played very well at Betis. We can't get anyone to offer us. Like, we would sell him for 25. We would sell him for anything, and nobody's offering nothing. It's crazy. It's crazy. They know to wait it out.
No, and they bleed us out. And I think it's because United has so much fucking bombs to defuse. There's just so much shit to work through. They're trying to sell Casemiro, hiring 4 intermediaries to try and foist him to the Saudis. You just have too many priorities. And at the same time, they're going onesie, not even onesie, twosie on transfer ins. They can only do 1 transfer at a time. That was a fucking Woodward thing. They're still doing it under Ineos. I think they just have too much to do. And teams know they can get one over on United because they've shown it.
We're so in the details on every deal,
yeah,
and we're like negotiating everything so hard. It's like you can tell we're just like trying to we have like PTSD from just getting robbed.
Yeah,
so we're just like so trying every deal, over engineering everything. It's just like it's costing us time. And also, when players fall out with you, they work with other clubs to get the move. So Garnacho is going to work with Chelsea to get a cheap deal from United. Antony, I always said they would hold out. They'd wait till the end of the season, end of the transfer window, like the end of August, and then he would like coordinate with Betis to get a cheap deal to go back there,
like
where United are paying his wages. United are paying his wages to play there. And speaking of paying his wages, we got sandwich.
This guy, I wouldn't trade him for a sandwich.
Now he was going to stay at Chelsea. Didn't want to cut his way. This is Jadon Sancho in a nutshell.
So, what a guy. How old is he?
Chelsea
25?
Offered him
good deal.
A good deal. He had to take a pay cut, didn't want it, came back. Then Juventus, that wasn't real. All the tier ones kind of poo-pooed that. And now he's asking Dortmund to come get him, and now he wants to take a pay cut. Talk about somebody who doesn't understand his value in the market. I feel like the Chelsea move was a good one.
It was.
It's a shame. Shame on Ineos for negotiating in the way they did initially. And shame on Sancho for not seriously taking a pay cut to stay at a proper club. And now he's getting frozen out. The windows are closing here. The opportunities are closing. We're not hearing a lot of news. It's good that we're getting Chelsea Garnacho.
I guess. I mean, Sancho.
Got to sell somebody. We need the money.
We do need the money. We have so many players to bring in. Sancho is one of those where he feels like he's destined to go to Saudi Arabia. And I don't mean that. It's just like his career has kind of floated away. He's only 25. I mean, the one was at Chelsea. Chelsea were willing to make a deal. They wanted to keep him even with the kind of the option to buy because at the wages that everybody else is agreeing to, basically other than Cole Palmer, they can make it work. They can make the financials work. And the fact that he was not willing to take that to be at one of the best clubs right now in the EPL, it says a lot about what kind of character Jadon Sancho has. So I think he's going to end up in a cut rate deal. He might just run out his contract. I mean, we might get nothing.
No, he is going to run his contract out. We're just going to eat all these contracts.
These fucking deals, bro.
The Antony deal is by far.
There's also
Antony
85 million pounds.
No, but these are back-breaking transactions. Yes. And United have to find a way to get these done. We're coming up on it. United are leaving.
We're August, bro.
You know, United are leaving a lot of business late. And we're talking goalie. We're talking midfield. We're talking striker. And it's August. It's August 3rd. And that's too much to do. and sell these guys, it's too much to do in the month. If you've seen our pace of play, it's like we've done a deal a month, and now we got to do 7 in like, and they're like, Barada's like, we're working all the time.
Bro.
It's like,
we'll get a striker. Yeah, that's it. We'll get like Sheshko in. They'll deal one of these guys.
You need a midfielder. You got to have a goalie. You got to have that. You can't do this.
We're starving, bro. We're starving. And they're also, I think they're overthinking
I want to be
deals.
excited.
They're moving too slow, bro. They're moving too slow. But they moved too slow. We got Rashford out, but it's amazing. I thought we'd have some momentum. I thought you'd be able to hoist Sancho for like nothing, but I think he's also being stubborn. These guys also have an inflated idea about like where they still stand in European football.
Next news article here: Ruben Amorim gave an interview, talked about how he wanted to be Manchester United manager for the next 20 years. After a difficult start at life to Old Trafford, he said he knew he would struggle, but he's optimistic ahead of the new season. We're going to play a little clip of the interview and react on the other side. Thought this was a real telling part of the discussion with Ruben Amorim.
How you see it in a day-to-day?
I don't want to. It's hard to talk about that in this moment because it seems like I'm saying bad things about the last year or the last years. But I think in every detail, I think we are better in the organization of the day by day. The nutrition is better, the way we cook, what we eat, how we prepare training. I think we are more organized. I think we have people now that help us to be better. I'm not concerned with small things, and I was in the last year. So that thing help us and help me to think more about watching the game, watching the team. So it's a big help for me. When it's a big help for the technical staff, it's a big help for the players. Then I think the players are working really well, and they understood that they need to give 100%. If they don't give that, it's going to be hard for them here. So that is also important. And I think we are getting to one point. I know that this is still really early, but I feel in the group that if someone comes to our group now, I will not have to fight all the fights. And I felt that last year. Now I feel.
I thought that's a big look. Just a little quote there from Amorim, but I thought he talked about a lot about setting everything up, the infrastructure. Doesn't have to worry about the details. He can focus on the football. Also, just the core leadership group that he discussed, and how he doesn't have to fight all the fights because he has internal policing. It took a lot to get here. I mean, he did come mid-season. He does have this preseason, so he's saying all the right things. You're seeing the fitness. You're seeing everything out of these players. Talking about leadership, rebuilding the org from the ground up. So it's not all about on the pitch, but at the end of the day, at some point, it does become how you perform at the end of the day.
And, some of that, to be fair, we have seen in preseason glimpses of it. The intensity looks higher. The fitness is definitely better. It's sharp. It was sharper, other than the Everton game. So it's encouraging. He's saying all the hype stuff that you want to hear, that we've heard every season headed into a new season. But with his track record and also just like how things played out over the last, 9 months, there is some truth, at least that you think you could find out of it, in the sense that like he's going to get a preseason. The preseason does seem to be coalescing the team around his vision. Also, the way that players have been talking about him, they're all dialed in. He's the fucking king. He runs the show. They are bought into his vision. You heard from Luke Shaw. You heard from some of the other lads as well. So I'm encouraged. I'm hyped up. I'm ready to rock, dude. He talked about I want to be at United for 20 fucking years. Like, yeah, me and you too, brother. So we'll see. It's all gonna come down to like how do those first 5 games go? We'll know probably after the first 1 or 2 games. It was like, are the players behind them? Are they willing to run through walls for him? Because that's his system. His system is like, I need all dogs. There's nowhere to hide.
100%.
He talked about it, bro. He's like, no, I think it was Shaw who was like, you give him 95%, you give him 90%, like he will chew you out and make sure you know about that is not acceptable. I think him raising the standards, that's what we need. We're going to have to squeeze this fucking stone, bro, and get as much blood as we can out of it. And we needed new players, but we were never going to get the level of players we needed. So it's about like making the most out of like the Delo, bro. Delo, what you got? Like, can he squeeze that stone? We'll see.
No, but that's in service of the ownership, right? Basically saying we get more out of what I have. Like he should
Totally.
be backed. Let's talk about
He's not being
that.
backed.
It's like Amorim needs to be backed. Like you see him on the sidelines of preseason. I love how pissed he is.
He's so
He's
pissed.
furious at he's killing him. This guy is the coach that we need to take us from the deep, dark depths. The problem is you look at who's in the boat, and we got a lot of bluffers, and we know how they turn. And when they turn, and then they get nothing on the pitch, there's a tight window for this man to sort of like get us through that, like that Death Star exit, And I feel like he's the man because he just has this intensity about him. And he hates anybody giving less than the standard. He's setting the standard, and that could either go spectacularly and bring us to the promised land or just explode and crash and burn. And I just feel like you're going to get either or with Amorim, and I really like him. But the 38% win rate, killing me, man. You cannot. You have to get results. This is Manchester United. I don't need to remind anyone listening to this podcast. As much as I like Ruben Amorim, last season sucked. That final sucked. He deserves a lot of blame in that. And at the end of the day, I think he's doing everything right. And I think this team was an absolute shit show. And I think he needs time, but he needs to be backed. He needs to be backed. And Ineos needs to get those three players in we just talked about. Because without that, he's getting the same fate as every other manager, which is being hung out to dry by the ownership. And that has to be talked about too. Because if we concede goals, we don't have a 6, and he asked for it and he didn't get it, that's a huge component of it too. So there's a lot of layers in it, but I really like Amorim. I really think he's got that, he's got that look. He's got that craziness about him that could bring us back.
No, you could see why he has brought such emotion out of certain players, at least at Sporting, what we hope to see at United, because I want to run through a wall for him. What he has is like, fuck yeah, let's go. I'll take it into the abyss. Let's take United back to where it belongs. And I think the players getting on board, like you said, there's been a decade of half measures. No manager really has been backed the way they, I'm sure, wanted to be backed, especially him. And at this point, you need to get all in on a system. You need to give him the tools to be effective and successful this season. And I hope he is, because obviously everybody in this pod, everybody listens, everybody who follows Manchester United wants them to succeed. I want him to be the guy to bring us back because I like his fucking attitude, which is like, you work your ass off, you die for this team. This is a fucking privilege. Follow me into the great yonder, sir. Let's go to battle with Ruben Amorim. I'm all in.
Hey, let's go. Arsenal. It all starts against Arsenal. Let's jump into some fan questions at KJL Joel. Everton match did indeed put the spotlight on a need of a defensive midfielder. I wanted Ugarte to shine this season, but sadly this match was a massive red flag. Nowhere near the quality you need in EPL. Manu also weak. Look, I think it's fair to kind of kill Ugarte. It was practice. There's got to be a player there. I think he needs to keep it simple. Hopefully Amorim can coach him up, although the way he reacts to certain things, it's like you're either with him or you're done, and we've seen him cut a lot of players. Ugarte does feel like he's on the way out. Like that after being dropped in the Europa League final, and then you have preseason, which should just be easy. He kind of made a meal of it today and looked like you're not going to start him against Arsenal. And then you're looking at Casemiro and those legs are old.
Can't do that.
Manu needs to be playing with someone who can have the legs, because getting forward, he's so dangerous around the box. That's where he should be. He shouldn't be so worried. So Manu's a player. Just we need a 6. We're dying for the Declan Rice.
Oh yeah, well that ship sailed. We got Antony.
But that type
instead.
of player,
Rodri,
Declan Rice,
like a general who can like clean up shop.
It's 100 million hole.
It's Balaba. It's Balaba at Brighton, and he's the signing you would make if you had money like Liverpool has right now. Ugarte, I think he's a talented player. I think he is stepping up into the intensity of the season. I thought he was much better in earlier preseason games. He had a howler, and I also think he gets in his head. I think he made one big mistake, and then he kept making mistakes, and then at that point, the whole fucking game was a write-off.
His stats across the last 2 years is like 17th percentile in progressive carries. Like his forward passing,
but his tackling is very good.
His passing stats are horrid. They're very, very bad. Like he's like 97th percentile tackles per game.
He's a specialist. He's a specialist.
But he cannot move the ball forward, and he can't with the ball at his feet, and he cannot pass it forward. Those are really bad things. In that position, you got to get the ball. That's like he's dictating the tempo. That's your general, right? You're keeping it easy so Bruno can work the magic. Like I just feel like that's a big hole in this team. great point. And let's see what United do. I think we're going to try to get somebody because Amber's looking at that game.
He's called it out
He's
too.
switching between Cass and Ugarte, and it's not there. And it's like he's going to be pounding the table. We need to get somebody in. At Torre de Corsa, we won the trophy on offer. If it was the same old team last year, we wouldn't have. What do you make of that?
I think the intensity has been different than even how we finished last season. Obviously, even versus the Europa League, I just think the boys look fitter. The pressing looks better. And I think this is where it talks about the character of players that Ruben Amorim has brought in. If you think about the signings he's made since he's been here, Dorgu, Heaven, fucking Cunha, and Bumo. And it's like they all have stepped up. They've all added a level of just like physicality, professionalism, especially the signings this summer. You could tell there's an intensity that Cunha offered as soon as he joined the squad. And then Bumo, he's quieter, not as kind of like loud as all the players have talked about Cunha being, but he's just a quiet force, bro. That guy is like the beard, fear the beard. I just think the intensity has stepped up, but now we have to show resiliency because fucking we're going to get punched in the face time after time this season. I think even against Everton, we got punched in the face and we were shook for a bit. And that's the Toffees, bro, who might get relegated this year.
At Rolling the Deep, 1995, good practice, sirs, but it ain't going to mean a thing if we're napping in the league when Arsenal come to OT. Bright spots, Euro and Bumo, Ahmad. Concerning Ugarte, Bayendir, Delo at left wing back. Team is pressing better, but again, it doesn't matter if you don't do it in crunch time. There's also another point you want to make. Who tried really hard in preseason? Leeds, who's being promoted, West Ham, Bournemouth, Everton. They don't care
Those
about
teams
preseason.
could all get relegated.
But a United who lost the Europa League final, we really care about preseason. So could you find something in that soup a little bit, being like, hey, United's probably trying the hardest because we have the most to prove after that big L that we had to eat, and it doesn't matter unless you do it in the real show at home and do it back against the wall. So, like, I agree with Deep here. You know, it's good practice. It's what we need, but we got to show up, and it's about how this team reacts when we get punched in the mouth. It's like taking a big we're going to fight hard, but you got to take a big L and you got to turn it around. The thing about Sir Alex Ferguson and how he's able to work this team is that we never went on slides. We never just lowered our heads and took L after L. This team
bleeding,
only
always.
This does it. We do not stop the bleeding. Ten Hag couldn't stop the bleeding. Amorim couldn't stop the bleeding. You got to win one, and then you got to bounce back. And this team, we need to see reactions. We need to see this team get scored on and then make a huge move forward. I feel like the Europa League final is behind us, but we do need to see this team sort of like show that reaction, show that fight, especially when we're down. That's what I'm going to look for. When this team gets down, we have to see a reaction.
That's what we haven't seen consistently enough of this team, right? They've rolled over, hard moments, fallen apart. It's all practice until it comes out on the 17th. That's the match to keep an eye on. It's going to be a big one against Arsenal, so we're starting off hot. But I'm encouraged what we're seeing. It's just like, can they translate that? Can they come together? There's a lot of moving pieces. The attack are still getting to know each other. Shit, we have big holes in the squad. But I'm excited. New start, new fresh season. And Ruben Amorim's getting me hypey. Sorry, 20 years. Yeah, right. Come on, I want you to say 20 months.
That's the podcast, sir. Another preseason tour in the USA behind us. We're going to have another podcast next week. And then the big one before Arsenal. So again, excited for the season. You want more America Red Devils content? Check out our newsletter, americareddevils.com/newsletter. Sign up. We give you an email in your inbox every single week. The top stories you need to be informed on if you're a true Muppet. You want to go the extra mile? Check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/America Red Devils. Also check out our store, americadevils.store. We have some great merch. Our black trucker hats back in stock. So we just got a fresh shipment for the new season. Check out the trucker hats. Grab it. Support the podcast. Check out our socials. Follow us there. Everybody, hopefully you're having a good summer and are getting geared up for the season. Sir, give us our top 10 downloads here in the podcast bunker. Last 7 days. How are we doing?
Appreciate all the America Red Devils listening week in, week out. We couldn't do without you. It's been a hell of an 8 years for the ARD community, but we really appreciate you backing us all summer. It's going to be a big season. Here we go. Top 10 cities last 7 days. Number 1, how you doing? Chicago, Illinois, Los Angeles, California, Dublin, Ireland, Charlotte, North Carolina, Oslo, Norway, Brooklyn, New York, Manchester, England, Portland, Oregon, Atlanta, Georgia, and last but not least, Houston, Texas. Appreciate all the America Devils listening week in, week out. A lot of good football. Looking forward to watching with all you guys. We're going to have the live live screening of the opener against Arsenal on the 17th.
Yeah, we're going to be live streaming the Arsenal game. So get over to your YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, please go over to our YouTube. We have live streams. We're also doing live post-match breakdowns. You want to get involved in the community, our Discord channel is amazing. That's in the description on our YouTube channel too. Great ways to get involved. America Red Devils, we're coming back. We need more. 15th place. Let's go again. Can't wait. Arsenal, we're going to be singing in the Stretty soon enough. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you on the other side.